And really what minimum wage do, they hurt the little person. $15 an hour to work at Target, you're not learning the same skills as, somebody who may repair airplanes. That's a really specialized skill set. And that individual may never have an opportunity because somebody who wants to teach him can't afford to pay him minimum wage maybe, right? Or maybe not as many employees minimum wage, but if there was lower wage regulation, a lot of people could go and learn at, one point and really pick up the skills that are valuable and make themselves valuable, So you got somebody who, you're working at Target your whole life, what skills are you really picking up there? You're picking up some, I'm sure, depending on what departments you deal in, but it's different when you're someone who's on IT maybe, and they pick up some skills that are worth $250,000 a year, after doing this job, as opposed to the skills you learn at Target. Those skills might only market you max maybe $70K a year, So it's about getting next to the experts, learning from the experts, being an apprentice, learning from the people who have done this already, because there's a lot of trade secrets to business in different industries. And speaking to the experts, I think that's the cheat code a lot of young people don't use to connect the older generation. So find out what you want to do, find somebody that's in there, and figure out how you can get next to them and work for free damn near. That's why internships are so great. And people are like, oh, companies are abusing internships and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah, potentially, but they can be great too. And really what minimum wage do, they hurt the little person. $15 an hour to work at Target, you're not learning the same skills as, somebody who may repair airplanes. That's a really specialized skill set. And that individual may never have an opportunity because somebody who wants to teach him can't afford to pay him minimum wage maybe, right? Or maybe not as many employees minimum wage, but if there was lower wage regulation, a lot of people could go and learn at, one point and really pick up the skills that are valuable and make themselves valuable, So you got somebody who, you're working at Target your whole life, what skills are you really picking up there? You're picking up some, I'm sure, depending on what departments you deal in, but it's different when you're someone who's on IT maybe, and they pick up some skills that are worth $250,000 a year, after doing this job, as opposed to the skills you learn at Target. Those skills might only market you max maybe $70K a year, So it's about getting next to the experts, learning from the experts, being an apprentice, learning from the people who have done this already, because there's a lot of trade secrets to business in different industries. And speaking to the experts, I think that's the cheat code a lot of young people don't use to connect the older generation. So find out what you want to do, find somebody that's in there, and figure out how you can get next to them and work for free damn near. That's why internships are so great. And people are like, oh, companies are abusing internships and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah, potentially, but they can be great too. And really what minimum wage do, they hurt the little person. $15 an hour to work at Target, you're not learning the same skills as, somebody who may repair airplanes. That's a really specialized skill set. And that individual may never have an opportunity because somebody who wants to teach him can't afford to pay him minimum wage maybe, right? Or maybe not as many employees minimum wage, but if there was lower wage regulation, a lot of people could go and learn at, one point and really pick up the skills that are valuable and make themselves valuable, So you got somebody who, you're working at Target your whole life, what skills are you really picking up there? You're picking up some, I'm sure, depending on what departments you deal in, but it's different when you're someone who's on IT maybe, and they pick up some skills that are worth $250,000 a year, after doing this job, as opposed to the skills you learn at Target. those skills might only market you max maybe 70K a year. It's about getting next to the experts, learning from the experts, being an apprentice, learning from the people who have done this already, because there's a lot of trade secrets to business in different industries. And speaking to the experts, I think that's the cheat code a lot of young people don't use to the older generation. So find out what you want to do, find somebody that's in there, and figure out how you can get next to them and work for free damn near. That's why internships are so great. People are like, oh, companies are abusing internships, and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah, potentially, but they can be great too. And really, with minimum wage too, they hurt the little person. $15 an hour to work at Target, you're not learning the same skills as somebody who may repair airplanes. That's a really specialized skill set, and that individual may never have an opportunity because somebody who wants to teach him can't afford to pay him minimum wage, maybe, right? Or maybe not as many employees minimum wage. But if there was lower wage regulation, a lot of people could go and learn at one point and really pick up the skills that are valuable, and make themselves valuable. So you got somebody who you're working at Target your whole life. What skills are you really picking up there? You're picking up some, I'm sure, depending on what departments you deal in. But it's different when you're someone who's on IT maybe, and they pick up some skills that are worth $250,000 a year, after doing this job, as opposed to the skills you learn at Target. Those skills might only market you max maybe 70K a year. It's about getting next to the experts, learning from the experts, being an apprentice, learning from the people who have done this already, because there's a lot of trade secrets to business in different industries. And speaking to the experts, I think that's the cheat code a lot of young people don't use to the older generation. So find out what you want to do, find somebody that's in there, and figure out how you can get next to them and work for free damn near. That's why internships are so great. People are like, oh, companies are abusing internships, and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah, potentially, but they can be great too. And really, with minimum wage too, they hurt the little person. $15 an hour to work at Target, you're not learning the same skills as somebody who may repair airplanes. That's a really specialized skill set, and that individual may never have an opportunity because somebody who wants to teach him can't afford to pay him minimum wage, maybe, right? Or maybe not as many employees minimum wage. But if there was lower wage regulation, a lot of people could go and learn at one point and really pick up the skills that are valuable, and make themselves valuable. So you got somebody who you're working at Target your whole life. What skills are you really picking up there? You're picking up some, I'm sure, depending on what departments you deal in. But it's different when you're someone who's on IT maybe, and they pick up some skills that are worth $250,000 a year, after doing this job, as opposed to the skills you learn at Target. Those skills might only market you max maybe 70K a year. It's about getting next to the experts, learning from the experts, being an apprentice, learning from the people who have done this already, because there's a lot of trade secrets to business in different industries. And speaking to the experts, I think that's the cheat code a lot of young people don't use to the older generation.
Hey, look, it's your heater.
So find out what you want to do, find somebody that's in there, and figure out how you can get next to them and work for free damn near. That's why internships are so great. People are like, oh, companies are abusing internships, and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah, potentially, but they can be great too.
Oh, baby. Oh, I'm here. And for those that don't know,
Hotep Jesus dude.
I am that Hotep Jesus dude. Welcome. Welcome to the afternoon stream. Catch you guys up with all the goings-ons, what's goings-ons with the goings-ons. Oh my God, let's see. We got a lot to cover today. I'm gonna try to make this as fast as possible. So we're gonna rip through this information. I just want to see, I'm gonna try to go a little faster pace today to see if you guys can keep up with me. I'm pretty sure you can. That's why I'm doing this. First of all, we're gonna jump right into the dumb shit. Let's jump right into the stupidness. Where is it? Here we go. Oh man, y'all are too funny, man. Right here, LG Rainbow Nation post this tweet. It says Ted Cruz's daughter comes out as. Let's dive into the post. I haven't read it. You'll see this. There's no highlights here. I didn't want to click on this. There was no reason for me to click on this when I saw this. Like, what the fuck going on over here? Apparently she's a minor. I'm like, yo, what are they doing? I don't know what's going on in the world. Here's what I do know. Here's what I did highlight. Washington laws now allow teen gender reassignment surgery without parental consent. What? What? Now this is what I want to be like, yo, this got to be conspiracy theory. I want to believe that this is conspiracy theory. Washington state now appears to allow minors to undergo life-changing gender reassignment surgery without parental consent under a new law. 13 years old. I could have sworn that's how old Ted Cruz's daughter was. I think that's what I saw Twitter saying. I don't even know if this is the truth, if this is tabloid, if this is officially TMZ. I don't know what's going on. Chat, help me out. I know the chat knows. Chat, help me out. How old is Ted Cruz's daughter? We gotta go over this. We gotta go over the Federal Reserve. I got some videos to play from Ron Paul. I got some videos to play from Bernie Sanders. I got some videos to play from Congress. We got articles to read from the Fed and break down. Raise from I said. Anyway, let's get this off my screen. Let's dive into some real shit. Everybody's like distracted. This is what's happening. This is what's going down. Like, why are they talking about that shit? This is the real shit that's going down. Anyway, let's move on to some grown folk business. Now you know why people distracted by that. Jerome Powell. Here's what you need to be paying attention to. Jerome Powell says the Fed is prepared to raise interest rates to tame inflation. Shit, fuck. Hold on. I got super chats. Not super chats. Cash app. Shout out to Evelyn. Evelyn sent me a cash app before I got on here. What was this yesterday? I think yesterday. Appreciate you. Cash app. Hotep Jesus. 100% of the proceeds go to me, as opposed to YouTube taking 30% of super chats. But I appreciate super chats too. You know, YouTube provides a service and they deserve to be rewarded. I don't know if 30% makes sense, but maybe one day we'll be at the negotiation table. So Jerome Powell says the Fed is prepared to raise interest rates to tame inflation. I want to go over here and I want to just pull out the Soul book. And I meant to get on here, but I had a meeting. I had a Motherboard design meeting today, so I didn't get a chance to go in here. If y'all patient with me, I could find it real fast. I know this is easy to find, but the book I'm pulling from right now is just Basic Economics by Thomas Sowell. This is a classic. I'm sure most of you have this book. If not, you might want to get a copy for your own personal library. And I'm not saying read the whole. I'm not saying read the whole 700 pages. I'm not saying that at all. One page back. So he has a bunch of. Sowell has a bunch of writing on inflation. Here we go. I think it's 438. I think it's page 438. You know, it's like you gotta use the index, you know, try to find a starting point. This is local taxation. Damn. I wanted to do this before I got on today and find that. I'll get that for another stream. Frantic Missy, appreciate you. She said, you are amazing. Never stop doing what you do. Your parents must be so proud. Happy to support your work. No cash app. Sorry about the BS 30%. Hey, no worries. Take it how it comes. Let's get back to here. I'll just do it straight off the top of the dome. You're going to have to just trust me. I'll bring Soul to the conversation in the future. So let's go. Jerome Powell, Federal Reserve Chair, said that a rapidly healing economy. let's start right there. So he says a rapidly healing economy, right? Question we have to ask ourselves is what's causing this healing, right? And I think the thing that's causing the rapid healing is the fact that it had a rapid decline. Things are starting to get back to normal. That is nobody deserves credit for that. You know, it's like saying, hey, look, I'm gonna put up a dam on the river, then give me credit when I move the dam and I can make water flow. It's like, nah, you just in the way. Get out the way and everything will flow. But they like to get in the way and then say they did something great when they get out the way. It's just like, what? Just get out the way. What Ludacris said. Okay. No longer needed as much help from the central bank. Said that rapidly healing economy no longer needed as much help from the central bank. And emphasized that control inflation, which he and his colleagues can do by raising interest rates, would be a critical part of setting the stage for a long and stable expansion that boosts work. This is his claim here. So controlling inflation is one thing he says, and raising interest rates is another. This is deflation, right? So what they do is to combat inflation, they and we're going to talk about deflation later, but to combat inflation, they're gonna implement deflation, and they do that with raising interest rates. And we're gonna go into some Federal Reserve history clips. We're gonna go into the archives and play some classic clips so people can see what the real for real is. Rudy the vet, he said a jab in the head before a jab in the arm. Do not comply. HTJ equals knowledge. Appreciate you. It's a hard body tweet right there. Uncle Hotep would have stole that. Mr. Powell, who was testifying before members of Senate Banking Committee on Tuesday, as he seeks confirmation for a second term as chair. Should we? I'm trying to think if it's after this or before this. You know, like the it's further on when they talk about demand. I remember now. Okay, so who is testifying before members? For your stint as, and right here they make the claim as head of the world's most powerful central bank. Wow. It's not something to brag about, United States. It's not something to brag about, people. It's not something that you want to say. The economy is growing swiftly. Again, so here they reiterate, right? So first it was rapidly healing economy, and now it's saying it's growing swiftly. But again, it's just people getting out the way. You had us on lockdown and mandates and whatnot. And then you get out the way and be like, oh, look, the economy's recovering. We did something right. It's like, no. People wanted to move on with your life. You told them you couldn't. So it says the economy is growing swiftly, but it has been buffeted by repeated waves of the inflation and by a surge of inflation that has proved stronger and longer lasting than economists had expected. So it says had proved stronger and longer lasting than. See, that's why I wish I'd have found this section in the Soul book. It'll take me like 15 minutes, but I can find it. Stronger and longer than economists had expected. What economists? What economists are you talking about? Your economists? Them Keynesian folk? Because people with common sense could have told you, hey, that might not be a good idea, locking things down. A crackhead could have told you that. I'm not, people like, oh, you're so smart. I'm like, no, I just exercise my common sense and speak my mind. Everybody should do that more. Everybody should do that more. Just ask questions. You're safe when you ask questions. Especially if you genuinely care about the response that you may get. So, the Fed is charged with maintaining price stability. Now, this right here is just an oxymoron to free markets. You don't want price stability. The prices are what regulate the market. And when you try to artificially stabilize prices, you throw off the market. Prices are supposed to fluctuate based upon demand, right? Y'all get in the way. Y'all mess up all the logistics. People can't get supplies fast enough. Shelves is bare. There's nothing on the shelves at the grocery store. Right. We like Venezuela. Markel paying my tuition. Appreciate you, homie. He said Japan has had negative interest rates since their crash in the 80s, which is terrible for the people. They're punished for saving the yen. Oh, man. Let's continue. I don't know what they talking about over here. This the shit I like to talk about. Let's close this tab. I don't even need that tab anymore. And let's close this tab. I don't need that one anymore. Fed is charged with maintaining price stability. What? And its officials have recently signaled that they could raise interest rates several times this year. What? Watch, it's gonna come. Try to cool the economy and prevent rapidly rising prices from becoming permanent. Becoming permanent. They believe that they could interfere and stop permanent prices. And I just told you, prices move. That's what they do. They're like waves, man. They go up and they come down. And that's what makes sure that the resources aren't depleted or stored up and stocked up. Sometimes you start regulating prices and you have a surplus of a certain good. It's just sitting there going to waste. You know what I'm saying? Prices regulate that, so you always got a good amount of stock in and flowing and out into the market. These some fools. Anyway, Mr. Powell, whom Mr. Biden nominated for a second term. All right, so here I think this is Mr. Powell. He said, if we see inflation persisting at high levels longer than expected, if we have to raise interest rates more over time, we will. He said, we will use our tools to get inflation back. And I'm not sure if we passed the part where they show you how they do it, but the central bank has also a second mandate. It's supposed to guide the economy toward full employment. Guide the economy toward full employment. First of all, it doesn't even make sense to have full employment. And this is the problem when you have artificial, it's like saying that every eligible football player has to be signed to a team. It's like, nah, you're going to have free agents. So there should never be a full employment. So I don't even know whoever wrote this. I don't know why they would even say the term full employment. What is your definition of full employment? How much is going to be in reserve? 8%, 7% of the workforce, 10%. How much of the workforce is going to be a free agent? You're saying full employment. The truth is we don't know. It could deviate from 3 to 8. Especially when you touching it. Especially when the Fed's stepping on the money. So that's just funny to me. Guide the economy. The economy does not need to be guided. Leave it alone. Stop touching shit. Situation in which people blah blah blah. All right, who cares? It says here, if rapid price gains start to become entrenched in our economy. So this is what they're trying to like this fear of permanence, right? Like they said that up here, becoming permanent. You gotta like watch these folks, man, when you read these articles. This is the New York Times. Entrenched in our economy, right? Right here, it says, supply is how many goods and services people are able to produce. Supply has been struggled to catch up. Didn't I just mention this? I just mentioned this. With booming demand as the economy has reopened from the pandemic, your supplies is low. Your supplies is low because you was fucking with the market. If you leave it alone, your supply will regulate itself. But you trying to regulate everything is just throw everything off. Don Allen in the chat said economies are naturally self-correcting. Bingo. The supply and the demand are the only factors that need to have any say so in the economy. If you ain't supply and you ain't demand, shut up. Supply has been struggling to catch up with booming demand, right? Because the economy comes roaring back, right? As the economy has reopened from the demic, shout out to demic, as shipping routes are clogged. See? Your supply chain, terrible. Factories shut down amid the bug breakout. They got Ninja Turtles mutating. Employers struggle to hire to ramp up production. Now, right here, I should have highlighted this. Employers struggling to hire. Let's highlight that. Why? Why is that important? Maybe it got something to do with them checks that the government be sending out to people. Franny Missy said, sent PDF of Creature and Jekyll Island IGDM. I don't need that book. I don't need that book, girl. You know what channel you on? You gotta go get my book. The Patriot Report, Unmasking Conspiracy, Money War. Hold on, we gotta start the presentation. Just let people know. I wrote a book on money. I wrote a book on the money. I definitely looked at that book. I think Creature Jekyll Island gave me, I think I got a little bit of that in here, but I went straight to the nitty gritty. I started at like 16th century Europe and tracked the money all the way over to America before you get a Fed. Before the Fed. I'm tracking the Fed before the Fed was the Fed. I got a whole series on it called The Patriot Report right on my channel. Make sure y'all subscribe and go watch that series. And I track the Fed from Europe to America before the Fed. I lead you right up to the Fed. After it gets to the Fed, it's boring, to me at least. Once it becomes a Fed, I show you the book ends. The book ends with the start of the Fed. Everybody knows about the start of the Fed. I'm telling you the origins of how they manifested the Fed. So this is like the pre-story, the prequel to the Fed. How it became. Because ain't nothing new under God's son. Let's go back to the article. I appreciate you, Missy. Markel, he said, do you think with this artificial economy we can get back to normal, or have they backed themselves into a corner where they have no choice but to manage? They know what to do. They know they're not supposed to touch the economy. They're gonna touch it anyway, just to fuck shit up. And we're gonna watch. Let's continue the article and you'll see what I'm talking about in just a second. But I just remember, up here I was over here ranting about supply, and they came out here talking about supply, y'all messed up. Can't hire. Why? Because everybody got a check from the government. Hold up real fast. We got to share the stream out. I forgot to share the stream out. Yo, go share the stream out, yo. Tag me on Twitter. I see Robert D. Banks already tagged me. He ahead of the game. I appreciate you. Tag me on Twitter with this stream, and I'll retweet you. Where we at? Let's go back to the article. Boom, boom. So it says the demand side of the economy is how much people want to buy, and is the part of the economy the Fed's policies primarily impact in the near term. What? The Fed's policies primarily impact the demand side of things? I don't know. Like, for me, so first of all, this is an oxymoron to the paragraph itself. If supply is struggling to catch up, why are you worried about the demand? Demand has no problems, right? So what do you want to decrease demand? But then this sentence is also saying this, well, this is just usually what the feds do, right? It's not in with this case what they're going to do. This is just usually what they do, right? Part of the feds primarily affecting the near term demand side. Well, I guess when they create mandates and shut down things, that's destroying demand, right? It's not even destroying demand. It's just destroying access. It's really what it's doing. It's just denying access to the demand, which in a way is like, you know, putting demand in jail, right? I guess that's what they did. They're like, hey, you know, we can manipulate demand. Let's put demand in jail. Economists increasingly expect Fed officials to make 3 or 4 interest rate increases. So this is going to be, all right, it says it right here, right? So it says moves that would make borrowing expensive for households. So again, this is what I was talking about, deflation, right? And we're going to go into deflation later. We got some Ron Paul clips to pull up. We got some Bernie Sanders clips to pull up. We still gotta play the Ron Paul joint with Fauci. We're gonna do that. We're gonna go into that next, and then we're gonna come right back to the Fed. I'm on their asses. Pause. So they want to make 3 or 4 interest rate increases, right? So this is they want to shrink the money, want to make sure people don't have as much access to the money, right? Money would become expensive, right? They want to make money more expensive to get. Right? It said expect businesses slow down spending and growth. So this is the shrinking of the money supply, and this is deflation, right? This is what they do. If you're watching my classes on the Patriot Report, you already know what we're talking about. You've seen this since 1831. You've seen this since 1791. If you in my class, you watch the class, you know. So that could, in turn, slow hiring. Well, keep wages from growing as swiftly and hold down prices over time as people shop less. The Fed rate increases would come on top of other moves the Fed is making to keep the economy from overheating. Officials are slowing down the big bond purchases. Usually, like, you always want to be selling these as a government. You always want to be selling bonds like that. You know, that kind of like proves the strength of the government. And the higher the interest rate on these things, you know, it's more trust in the government to make good on their return. But, you know, to slow down, this just lets you know shit is fucked up when the government ain't trying to sell bonds. What? Get your ass out there and sell some bonds, motherfucker. Is there more in here? Oh, that was the end, right? That was the end. All right, let's go to this Ron Paul clip. Then we're gonna come right back to the Federal Reserve. Hold on. I mean Rand Paul. My bad, Rand Paul. This is classic too. We're gonna play the whole 3 minutes, and we're gonna break it down little by little, and then we're gonna go right back to the Fed.
Do you really think it's appropriate to use your $420,000 salary to attack scientists that disagree with you?
The email you refer.
He don't know he muted. Fauci like.
Referring to was an email of Dr. Collins to me. If you look at the email.
Oh, come on. Stop redacting my stream here.
Salary to attack scientists that disagree with you?
The email you're referring to was an email of Dr. Collins to me. If you look at the email.
That you responded to and hurried up and said, I can do it. We got something in Wired magazine.
No. I think in usual fashion, Senator, you are distorting everything about me.
Did you ever object to Dr. Collins' characterization of them as friends? Did you write back to Dr. Collins and say, no, they're not friends, they're esteemed scientists, and it would be beneath me
I did not
do that? You responded to him that you would do it, and you immediately got an article in Wired, and you sent it back to him and said, hey, look, I've got him. I nailed him in Wired of all scientific
That's not
publications.
what went on. There you go again.
That
you
was
just do the same
Rand Paul is on his ass.
thing every hearing.
Watch.
That was your response. And this wasn't the only time. So your desire to take down people.
You're absolutely incorrect. As usual, Senator, you are incorrect almost everything you said.
Well, no, you deny, but the emails tell the truth of this.
No.
This wasn't the only time. Your desire to take down those who disagree with you didn't stop with Harvard, Oxford, and Stanford.
Who? Harvard, Oxford, and Stanford? Time out. Time out. Yo, hold up. Rand Paul out here dropping the names. Harvard, Oxford, and Stanford. What's Oxford? Isn't that's over there in United Kingdom, England, Great Britain. Is that the one, chat? Am I correct here? Step Colonel, we went from the roaring 20s to the redacted 20s. Okay. This is what he talking about. This is funny. This is hilarious.
You conspired with Peter Daszak.
Oh, man. He's saying names.
Who you communicated with privately, and other members of the scientific community that wrote opinion pieces for Nature. 5 of them signed a paper for Nature, an opinion piece. 17 signed a paper that called it conspiracy theory. The idea that the virus could have originated in the lab. Do you think words like conspiracy? The idea that the virus could have 17 signed a paper that called it conspiracy theory. 17 signed a paper that called it conspiracy theory. a paper for Nature, an opinion piece. 17 signed a paper that called it conspiracy theory. 17 signed a paper that called it conspiracy piece. 17 signed a paper that called it conspiracy theory. Piece. 17 signed a paper that called it conspiracy theory.
17. Use the term conspiracy theory. If you do SEO, you already know what's happening.
The idea that the virus could have originated in the lab. Do you think words like conspiracy theory should be in a scientific paper?
Senator, I never used that word when I was referring to it. You're distorting virtually everything.
Did you communicate with the 5 scientists who wrote the opinion piece in Nature where they were describing, oh, there's no way this could have come from the lab?
That was not me. What I did.
Did you talk with any of those scientists privately?
You keep distorting the truth. It is
privately, and other members called it conspiracy theory. Scientists who wrote the opinion piece in Nature where they were describing, oh, there's no way this could have come from the lab.
That was not me. What I did.
Did you talk with any of those scientists privately?
You keep distorting the truth. It is stunning how you do that.
Did you talk to any of the scientists privately?
Yes.
Who wrote the opinion? You did.
Well,
what were they telling you privately?
Well, let me explain. You know, you're going back to that original discussion when I brought together a group of people to look at every possibility with an open mind. So not only are you distorting it, you are completely turning it around, as
Were most of the scientists that came to you privately, did they come to you privately and say, no way, this came from the lab? Or was their initial impression, Dr. Gary and others that were involved, was their initial impression actually that it looked very suspicious for a virus that came from a lab?
Senator, we are here at a committee to look at a virus now that has killed almost 900,000 people. And the purpose of the committee was to try and get things out, how we can help to get the American public. And you keep coming back to personal attacks on me that have absolutely no relevance to reality.
Do you think
Yo, where's the part where he said, yup?
community that wrote opinion pieces for Nature theory should be in a scientific paper?
Virtually everything.
Did any of those scientists privately?
You keep distorting the truth. It is stunning how you do that.
Did you talk to any of the scientists privately?
Yes.
Who wrote the
Right there. There you go, right there. Right there.
Talk to any of the scientists privately?
Yes.
Who wrote the
Yes. Yes. Said it right there.
privately?
Yes.
Who wrote the
distorting the truth. It is stunning how you do that.
Did you talk to any of the scientists privately?
Yes.
Who wrote the opinion?
Got him. Got him. Got him. Great job. Great job, Rand Paul. Great job. We got a confession out of the defendant. I love to see it. Freaking love to see it. Freaking love it. Let's go back to the Fed now. That was Rand Paul giving Dr. Fauci the business over first called Hotep's Lil Sis Greentree. First called Hotep's about 4 years ago. I vote Hotep's and Sonny Johnson in the future. Future government leadership. 2 parties that actually won. Appreciate you. Shout out to Sonny Johnson. One time for Sonny Johnson. Oh baby, we got a couple of videos. We about to get into some shit. Let me pull up my timestamps. All right. So real quick, as everybody knows, Hotep Nation, we deal in homeschooling. Hit the subscribe button right now if you haven't done that yet. Hit the subscribe button. But we deal in homeschooling. We support the homeschooling community across America. And if you would like to support us, you can do so at hotepnation.com/donate. It would all be highly appreciated. We already have $2,000 and growing, over 20 donors, I think. One dude sent us like fucking $1,000. Shit was dope. Trying to find a tape. Here we go. Right here. Oh, all right. Let's play the tape from right here. We're gonna go to not Rand Paul. We're gonna go to Ron Paul. This is July 18th, 2012. He's talking to Fed chairman at the time, Ben Bernanke. Let's roll the clip.
To manage monetary policy. Which branch of government has the absolute authority to manage monetary policy?
The Congress has the authority, and it's delegated to the Federal Reserve. That's a policy decision that you made.
Yeah, one time for Ben Bernanke. That shit was gangster. He said, it's a policy decision you made. He's not wrong either. I gotta play that back. He just said it so calm. Like, when you know what time it is. You delegated your powers to us.
To manage monetary policy.
The Congress has the authority, and it's delegated to the Federal Reserve. That's a policy decision that you made.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Let's keep playing. I can't play it again. I'm gonna die. I will literally die on stream if I play that one more time, yo. Oh, I gotta play it one more time.
To manage monetary policy. Which branch of government has the absolute authority to manage monetary policy?
The Congress has the authority, and it's delegated to the Federal Reserve. That's a policy decision that you made.
Yeah, but they can't transfer authority. You can't amend the Constitution by just saying we're going to create some secret group of individuals and banks. That's amending the Constitution. You can't do that and all of a sudden allow this to exist in secrecy. And whose responsibility is it for oversight? Which branch of government has the right of oversight?
Congress has the right of oversight, and we certainly fully accept that, and we fully accept the need for transparency and accountability.
It gets worse. He gets more gangster. Just watch.
But it is a well-established fact that an independent central bank will provide better outcomes. If you want to go, there's no constitutional reason why Congress couldn't just take over monetary policy. If you want to do that, I guess that's your right to do it. But I'm advising you that it wouldn't be very good from an economic policy point of view.
Oh my God. Yo, like, if you talk money, he basically just said, like, yo, you could try that shit if you want to, but I'll break you. I'll break your economy. And if you read the Patriot Report, or if you watch the streams, the Patriot Report playlist on this channel, you already know what he's saying. It's an act of war. He's damn near a declaration of war, is what he just claimed right there. I'm gonna play it one more time. You gotta listen to it with your money ear.
Right of oversight, and we certainly fully accept that. And
we're going to create some secret group of individuals and banks. That's amending the Constitution. You can't do that and all of a sudden allow this to exist in secrecy. And whose responsibility is it for oversight? Which branch of government has the right of oversight?
Congress has the right of oversight, and we certainly fully accept that. And
Congress has the right of oversight. Correct.
And we fully accept the need for transparency and accountability. But it is
But you heard that? But he said, but.
But it is a.
You heard that? We fully respect your right to privacy, but.
Certainly fully accept that, and we fully accept the need for transparency and accountability. But it is a well-established fact that an independent central bank will provide better outcomes. If you want to go, there's no constitutional reason why Congress couldn't just take over monetary policy.
He like, yo, you could get ahead. You could do this on your own. You could get ahead and try that, right? You could not work with a central bank. You could do that, but
if you want to do that, I guess that's your right to do it. But I'm advising you that it wouldn't be very good from an economic policy point of view.
But that wouldn't be too good for your self-interest, if you know what I mean. Winky, winky. You could try that if you want to. We will destroy your nation, sir. If you listening with your money ear, that was damn near a declaration of war. Listen to it.
Want to go, there's no constitutional reason why Congress
He like, yeah, you can leave if you want.
couldn't just take over monetary policy. If you want to do that, I guess that's your right to do it. But I'm advising you that it wouldn't be very good from an economic policy
But it wouldn't be good for you.
point of view.
Yeah, but if it's allowed to be done in secret, this is the reason why I want to work within the system. What I want to say is Congress ought to get a backbone. They ought to say we deserve to know, we have a right to know, we have an obligation to know, because we have an obligation to defend our currency. It's the destruction of the currency that destroys the middle class.
Bingo. You said it right there. Let's play that back.
If it's allowed to be done in secret, this is the reason why I want to work within the system. What I want to say is Congress ought to get a backbone.
Congress ought to get a backbone. What did he mean by that? What did he mean by that? Congress better get a backbone. Whoa. Whoa. Is he trying to say that Congress ain't nothing but a group of simps? Oh, Lord. Who have we elected? Who elected these senators? Are you serious? Say, hey, stop being some punk bitches. And he looked at somebody when he said it too. He had a name in mind.
Secret. This is the reason why I want to work within the system. What I want to say is Congress ought to get a backbone.
You saw him look. He like, hey, look, you, Mitch McConnell.
They ought to say we deserve to know, we have a right to know, we have an obligation to know, because we have an obligation to defend our currency. It's the destruction of the currency that destroys the middle class.
Boom. He gets it. Mr. Paul gets it. Let's move to the next timestamp, and then we got another video to play. We got a Bernie video to play. Can you believe that? A Bernie video? So we're gonna go to the next timestamp. It's right about here. I wish I'd have had that soul information for y'all, but I had a meeting earlier. And y'all was bitching in the chat about me starting on time.
Prices soared up. Everybody knows there was a bubble, and then they collapsed. When those prices of houses collapse, do you call that deflation?
Boom. Did y'all hear that? Gotta pay attention. Stay with me now. Stay with me. First, let's go here. Let's go, where is it? So let's highlight this one, right? It said rising cost of housing. And then, where's the next part? Right here. Borrowing expensive for households, right? You see it right here. You see it in the article New York Times published. It said 3 or 4 interest rates would make borrowing for households and businesses. Would make borrowing expensive for households and businesses. See it right here. All right, now listen. Let's go back to the tape now, and let's listen to Bernanke's response.
But the prices soared up. Everybody knows there was a bubble, and then they collapsed. When those prices of houses collapse, do you call that deflation?
That's the question. Do you call that deflation? We talked about this.
No. Deflation.
Look, remember Bernanke's body language is just like, yo, you can't touch me. You guys have no backbone.
And they collapse. When those prices of houses collapse, do you call that deflation?
No.
I mean, the question is kind of bad.
When those prices of houses collapse, do you call that deflation?
You can't really ask the question like that. So technically, like Ben Bernanke's like, and this is the problem, right? When Congress has oversight, Congress got to be sharp. Like Paul got to be sharper with his. I know what he was trying to say.
Everybody knows there was a bubble and then they collapsed. When those prices of houses collapse, do you call that deflation?
Just because the price of houses collapse does not mean it's deflation. So when he answers no, like technically Ben's correct.
No.
And look at him. Yo, you could just throw the glasses on him with the glasses meme, the GIF, boom, like gangster. Look at this. Look at this. Oh my God. Are you serious? Just no. And this is the problem. This is the problem. The problem is these people know we're idiots. So they're looking at you like, look at this idiot trying to ask me questions. What kind of question is that? When housing prices drop, is that deflation? This is the problem with imprecise language. What he meant to say was, could housing prices dropping be an indicator or a symptom of deflation? Then he'd have to say, well, yeah. But Ron Paul, probably by accident, didn't include these precise words to qualify the question. And Ben Bernanke sees the misstep, the mistake, and just hits him with the no. No.
Deflation is prices of current goods and services. So inflation doesn't capture house prices. It includes the house or the rental.
Okay.
Right there. So this is precise language as well.
So inflation doesn't capture house prices. It includes the house or the
He said doesn't include house prices.
rental.
Okay.
He says it includes the rentals. And my guess is he's talking about once they measure inflation, what are the factors considered? But that's not what Ron Paul is getting at. But right here, Ron Paul ices him.
And I think one of the problems, even getting a full-fledged discussion out, is sometimes the definition of words about what.
Correct, because that's why I say you have to use precise language, because the way somebody uses the same term as you, they can be correct and you can be correct. That's why you have to use very precise, qualifying language. Little sis Green Tree say what I say. They're all one, shifting power around. Hoteps could run rings around that. Sonny Johnson for Education Secretary. I've learned so much. Appreciate you.
What inflation and deflation means, because as far as I'm concerned, discussion out is sometimes the definition of words about what inflation and deflation means.
What inflation and deflation means, pay attention.
Because as far as I'm concerned, deflation is when the money supply shrinks and inflation is when the money supply expands.
Boom. And that's what these fools try to sidestep. Right? So, going back, remember we still got the Bernie clip we got to play. Going back, what they said they wanted to do, increase interest rates. And these rate increases are going to make borrowing expensive for households. This is the real estate market, right? This is the real estate market they're talking about. So going to shrink money, make money expensive to get, right? But here, Ben Bernanke kind of dodges around this question because he uses imprecise language. It says, no, this has nothing to do with housing prices. And, housing prices aren't fixed into how we measure inflation. And this is just a matter of when you're talking to somebody about a particular area of expertise and they're more of an expert on you and it's not even close. So you run into these problems because what these people did, they created their own language so they can use the same words as you, but the words when they use them in a financial word mean one thing, and when you use them in what they really mean, there's a conflict there. That's why you have to be like super precise when you ask them questions. Wendy, yo, in the chat. Uh-oh. Wendy, you don't got a wrench. You got a wrench now. Welcome, Wendy, y'all. Make sure y'all check out Wendy Yo's YouTube channel. Subscribe over there. That's all your crypto news. All the crypto news you need to be following her. She gonna keep you up to date. Is there more after this?
But just about everybody in the country, especially the financial markets, and the way I think the conventional use of inflation is the CPI. And I
Right, exactly. So this is what I was just talking about. So he's basically saying
means, because as far as I'm concerned,
he's basically saying, look, inflation is, you know, the increase and decrease of money, right? Of the money supply. But the financial world, Bernanke type cats, they going based upon the price index, consumer price index, the price of goods. That's what they're going by. They're not going by how much money they pump into the market. So people are measuring inflation based upon two completely different factors. So that's why Bernanke could be right and he could be right. And he says it right here.
And deflation is when the money supply shrinks, and inflation is when the money supply expands. But just about everybody in the country, especially the financial markets, and the way I think the conventional use of inflation is the CPI. And I think it's
right there. That's how they measuring it. And that's the trick. That's the trick. You out here complaining about one thing and they like, yo, we measure it by something else. I don't know what you're talking about. So you have to bring them over here and say, niggas, you quantitative easing? Is you printing money? What is you doing over there? Are you printing money? How much money you print this month? Huh? Why'd you print that?
You know, a lousy measurement, because if it's the money supply increase, if prices going down of houses is not deflation, wonder why it is that inflation is measured by the CPI going up.
Uh-oh.
Rather than the money supply going up. Our argument is that once you distort interest going up, rather than the money supply going up.
See? Y'all judging it based upon the prices. Why aren't you judging it based upon the money supply?
Our argument is that once you distort interest rates and increase the supply of money, you end up with this gross distortion that is demanding some correction. So I would.
Boom. Let's bring that second back. We got that was what I was talking about earlier.
You end up with this gross distortion that is demanding some correction. So
gross distortion demanding correction. Let me bring it back just a little bit further to get the whole sentence in there.
The CPI going up rather than the money supply going up. Our argument is that once you distort interest rates and increase the supply of money,
once you distort interest rates and increase the supply of money,
you end up with this gross distortion that
you end up with a gross distortion
is demanding some
that demands correction. So basically, like I was saying before, y'all coming in, y'all setting the dam up, and then telling people, hey, we got to remove the dam, y'all. It's like, why'd you put it there in the first place? You know, you just in the way. Just a middleman in the way.
Correction. So I've worked on this for years, and we're not going to.
All right, that was the end of that one. Let's go to the next one. We're going to a classic clip. Make sure you subscribe. I appreciate all our new subscribers. Make sure you please subscribe right now before we go into this classic clip from Bernie Sanders. And it's so relevant. It's so relevant to the content that we put out on this channel. More subscribers. Make sure y'all share it out. Let me go check my Twitters now. Let's go check my Twitters. Let's see what's here. Frantic Missy bought your book today. I'm looking forward to reading it. Shout out to Frantic Missy. Just got herself a copy of the Patriot Report. Kamar, appreciate you. People sharing the love. I love it. People sharing the love. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I appreciate y'all. Y'all the real MVPs, y'all. I promise you. Y'all the real MVPs. Let's get into some real shit. This is epic. This is epic. This next clip right here is why you came to watch this stream today. This is why you came today. Many of you have already probably seen this. Some of you haven't. But no matter what, no matter which side you on, you are going to love this clip I'm about to play. Epic. And I'm not a Bernie fan either. I'm not a Bernie guy. But this shit right here. Let's play the clip.
Understanding how you have put TARP bailout, which I voted.
Bernie just went nuts on this fool.
We have spent a lot of time in Congress talking about the $700 billion TARP bailout, which I voted against as it happens. Not a whole lot.
Oh shit, he think he's slick. Did you hear that?
Bailout, which I voted against. Congress talking about the $700 billion TARP bailout, which I voted against as it happens.
Which I voted against, it happens. Watch his head. Watch he just put his head down like, TARP
bailout, which I voted against as it happens. Not a whole lot has been talked about with regard to the $2.2 trillion that the Fed has lent out.
Uh-oh. How much? 2.2? 2.2 trillions.
Now, I find that absolutely extraordinary.
Yeah, I would say absolutely extraordinary. Would describe 2.2 trillions.
That I wrote you a letter and I said, hey, who'd you lend the money to?
This shit sound like Black Lives Matter. Where's the money? Yeah, I raised all that money. Where's the money?
What were the terms of those loans? How can my constituents in Vermont get some of that money? Who makes the decisions? Do you guys sit around in a room? Do you make it? Are there conflicts of interest? So my question to you is, will you tell the American people to whom you lent $2.2 trillion of their dollars, will you tell us who got that money and what the terms are of those agreements?
It's a heavy charge. It's a heavy charge. I'm gonna play it one more time.
Will you tell us who got that money and what the terms are of those agreements?
Who got the money? What's the terms? Who got the money and what's the terms? You done borrow some money. You know what I'm saying? And Debo like, yo, you supposed to be handling my money. What are you doing with my money? I'm just checking on the chat. What are you doing with my money? That's what Bernie said. What you doing with that $2.2 trillion? I wrote you a letter. You left me on red. Bernie said, where's the money? What would you expect somebody to say, right? That's on the other side of the table, like you owe him some money, 2.2 trillions. Oh my God. What would you expect them to say? Let's go to the clip. Let's see how Ben Gangster Bernanke responds to this.
We explain each of our programs. In terms of the terms, we explain the terms exactly. We explain what the collateral requirements are. We explain what
To whom did you explain that?
It's on our website.
Yeah.
Yeah. This nigga's in a hearing saying the terms and conditions of our agreement is on our website. The disrespect. He said, go check the website, bro. Leave me alone. The terms, and he's right. He's technically right? Like there's an agreement that was set. It's on our website, and don't talk to me about that 2.2 trillion. You know what we did with that? We did what the fuck we wanted to do with that. This Ben just gets so gangster.
It's on our website.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all. I just find real life to be hilarious.
We explain the terms exactly. We explain what the collateral requirements are. We explain what
To whom
He's saying, like, why you getting up here in front of all these folks and acting like you don't know what we agreed to?
did you explain that?
it's on our website.
Yeah, okay.
So all that information is available in our commercial paper
And
program.
who got the money?
Hundreds and hundreds of banks, any bank or that has access to the U.S.
All right, so right here, he's stuttering. He like, That's a tough question to answer. Listen, don't fuck up, Ben.
Hundreds of banks, any bank or that has available in our commercial paper
And
program.
who got the money?
Hundreds and hundreds of banks, any bank or that has access to the U.S.
Whoop. Be careful, Ben.
commercial paper
And
program.
who got the money?
Hundreds and hundreds of banks, any bank or that has access to the U.S. Federal Reserve's
Will you
discount.
tell us who they are?
No, because
Oh my God. Yo. Are y'all seeing this? Are y'all seeing this? Are y'all seeing this? Step Colonel Bernie mad because they get in the bag without him. Word, right? You're like, where the money at, yo? Oh my God. Lauren, hold on. I got to get you a wrench. I don't even know why you're not a wrench. Let me see. Where's Lauren? Right there. Boom. Lauren's got a wrench right now. Oh man. Oh my God. Yo, can you tell me what you did with that 2.2 trillion? Nope.
Federal Reserve's
Will
discount.
you tell us who they are?
No,
He's saying no. He said, I told Ron Paul. I told him, we understand. We understand that you have some privacy concerns, but central bank is paramount to your success and progress. And if you want to go do your own thing, you can go do your own thing. But if you do, just remember there will be dire consequences to pay. He already told Ron Paul that. Now here he comes talking about, well, where's that $2.2 trillion? And he said, can I know who you gave it to? And he said, no. Now let's listen to it. Let's listen to his explanation.
that has access to the U.S. Federal Reserve's
Will
discount.
you tell us who they are?
No, because the reason that is counterproductive and will destroy the value of the program is that banks will not come to the.
Isn't that too bad?
Well, isn't that too bad? Bernie was fed up. I gotta play that back.
Program is that banks will not come to the.
Isn't that too bad?
Sorry.
In other words, isn't that too bad? They took the money, but they don't want to be public about the fact that they received it. We heard a whole lot about AIG. They're on the front pages.
These are very.
Now, I got banks and I have businesses and.
Look at Bernie face. Look at Bernie face. Arr. Now there's somebody that wants. He wants. What somebody say? They say Bernie man because they ain't cut him in. You don't know how right you are. Because listen to this next statement from Bernie. You don't know how right you are. Listen to this next statement from Bernie.
Public about the fact that they received it. We heard a whole lot about AIG. They're on the front pages.
These are very.
Now, I got banks and I have businesses in the state of Vermont.
See? I got banks.
Who are in a lot of trouble. Not banks. Our banks, by the way, are doing pretty well.
Oh, yeah, you cleaned that up real quick, didn't you, Bernie?
Now, how do these guys who are honest business people get it? Do you have to be a large, greedy, reckless financial institution to apply for these monies?
There is no subsidy. There is no capital involved. There is no gift involved. It is a collateralized, short-term liquid loan that is both over-collateralized and is recourse to the company itself. We have never lost a penny doing it.
Bar. That's just bars right there.
That is both over-collateralized
Right here.
and
To apply for these monies?
there is no subsidy. There is
There's no subsidy.
no capital involved. There is
When he said no capital involved, he's talking about actually, I don't know what he's talking about. Hold on.
No gift involved. It is a
Okay. No advance. He's saying there's no advance. He's not advancing anybody any money. It's a pure loan.
collateralized
Collateralized, short term
liquid loan that
liquid loan. So that's why I was concerned, like, you know, capital. Like, okay, you mean capital like it's an advance capital, but no, this is just a loan. Okay?
is both over collateralized.
And he's saying it's over collateralized, meaning they've shown that, you know, they can more than handle this type of loan because they got the assets to prove it.
And is recourse to the company itself. We have never lost a penny doing it.
We've never lost a penny doing it. Look, we running your money game and we doing pretty good over here. You know, we never lost no money doing this. Right.
And how can other institutions make...
No, that's not the right question to ask, Bernie. You need to go back to your original premise. Stop worrying about your banks. You got to ask them, who are these banks and why can't we know?
get those loans as well?
According to the law, we are supposed to be lending to depository institutions.
Let me just say this, Mr. Chairman. I have a hard time understanding how you have put $2.2 trillion at risk without making those names available, those institutions public. And we're going to introduce legislation today, by the way, to demand that you do that. It is unacceptable to me that that goes on.
I don't think we ever heard from that. Y'all could correct me if I'm wrong. So, coming back to the Jerome Powell article, this guy's up for re-election. We see the relationship we have between some congressmen and the Fed and their reputation. So here's the next guy in line. I want to say there was an in-between person. Who was it? Let's see. Let's get a list of chairmans going here. Yeah, Janet Yellen. That's who it was. Word. I knew it was somebody in between. This chick. Word. So she dropped out in 2018. And then now we got Jerome Powell. Okay. He's up for re-election. Let's dive into his life. Let me see. Politics at Princeton. Jewish doctorate from Georgetown. Investment banking in '84. He's a partner at the Carlyle. If you know, you know. Secretary of Domestic Finance under Bush. Okay. Yeah, he definitely so Princeton, that's Woodrow Wilson territory right there. Interesting. Yeah, so this is Jerome Powell and his situation. And so he's up for, I would assume that he's probably going to get another 4 years. I think that's safe to assume. Following his resume, it doesn't seem like there's too much pushback on decision making. This article didn't seem unfavorable to Mr. Powell. But again, this is all about inflation and then deflation. So when we look at, you know, what is the scope of 2022? What can we expect, right? Because we extrapolate all this information. It's like, all right, now we got this information. What do we do with it, right? Well, prepare. Right? I would prepare for exactly what this article says. Borrowing could be expensive, so there could be some shifts in housing prices happening this year. Maybe the stock market reacts to it. We're already seeing the slouch in the crypto market. Maybe that's a reflection of what's happening in the greater market, or maybe it's the whales. Who knows? Yeah. But this is the problem with socialist economics. This is the problem with socialist economics. Socialist economics, what they do is they just come in and they start touching things and they start breaking things. It's like, hey, stop touching stuff. Leave that alone. So then it just begs the question, right? And then you have to ask yourself the question. You're like, either they're dumb or they're deliberately trying to sabotage. Right? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Are these people dumb, or are they deliberately trying to sabotage us? That's the question you got to ask yourself. And that's a scary question, right? It's a really scary question. My bad, I had to throw my Mozart on. Because if they dumb, then it's like we're being ruled by idiots, and then it's not. It's just like we're being ruled by devils, by demons. Because they're coming in and screwing things up. And their reputation precedes them. I listed it. I literally listed it in my book. This is premeditated murder. Currency Act, First Bank, Second Bank, Panic in 1819, McCullough versus Maryland, Bank War. We doing Civil War next. Civil War, we got a presentation on the Civil War. Everybody think they know the reason for the Civil War. Everybody want to talk about black people was allegedly, part of the reason for the Civil War. No, I'm going to dispel that myth in the next presentation that I do on the page report. I can't wait to do that. Because everybody's world gonna be shattered. No, you wanna know why? I'm gonna tell you why. Shmoney, that money green. You gonna see why. But again, these raging socialists trying to fix prices. Shout out to Rand Paul, Ron Paul, Bernie Sanders for those epic clips. Let me check the chat. See what the chat's talking about. Joe Music, Hotep Jesus, you seen? Oh yeah, I seen that. Yeah, I did see that. I think that came out like a couple weeks ago, right? What? Julian Assange, what? He says about the Fed centralization of power. Absolutely. You think we're gonna experience a bail-in? Yeah, I think that the banks will have time to prepare for the shrinkage of money. The question is, will the middle class? They can take the crypto anytime they want to have aircraft. Well, they can take anything at that point, like it's kind of like a moot point. Like, yeah, well, they can come and take anything if they want. It has nothing to do with crypto. There's so much we didn't learn or were fed lies. Yeah, well, this is what happens. What they say is never allow your enemy to educate your children. That's why we push homeschooling. HotepNation.com. They might authorize in 90 days. What? Authorize what? After the next election, the government should be purged of all Faucistas. I like that. Thank you for joining me for today's presentation. I got Kim Klacik. Kim Klacik is coming on Friday. That's gonna be super dope. What's today? Tuesday, Men of Order. Make sure you subscribe to Men of Order. Men of Order is happening tonight. I just did an interview with Gothics yesterday. That was dope. I'll be back on BitBoy talking crypto and money. What else? Hotep's been told you Thursday. Me and Wendy Wednesday night talking relationships. If you want to learn how to play chess, I'd spend a lot of time studying chess. You can subscribe to the Hotep Chess channel. That's somewhere on this channel. You just hit my channel and subscribe, and pretty deep lessons that we deal with over there. But yeah, man, I'm gonna get out of here. Y'all have a wonderful day. I appreciate everybody and all your support, y'all. Hotep and Bill, love y'all.